The nightclub was alive with bass that shook the walls, smoke curling around the low-hung chandeliers, and velvet curtains swallowing corners in mystery. You didn't rush in, you entered like you owned the place. Every step of your stiletto heels was deliberate, clicking against marble as your red silk dress slid against your skin like liquid fire. Heads turned, whispers swirled, but you weren't looking for them. You were looking for him. And there he was, John Jungkook, the devil dressed in black silk, sitting in a booth like a king on his throne, one arm slung lazily across the backrest, the other wrapped around a glass of whiskey, condensation dripping. Slow, shadows kissed the sharp angles of his jaw, and under the dim lights, his lip ring caught the glint of gold. You could feel his eyes find you, like a touch, across the room, but you didn't approach him, not yet. Instead, you went to the bar, ordered a drink with a sly smile, sat sideways, crossing one leg over the other so the slit in your dress parted just enough to tease. You laughed softly at something the bartender said, not too loud, not too rehearsed, just enough for Jungkook to notice the curve of your smile. And he did. Every time you glanced in his direction, his gaze was already on you, sharp, hungry, calculating. You lifted your glass, sipping slowly, letting the wine stain your lips. Then you dragged your thumb across your bottom lip, a subtle gesture, but the way his jaw flexed in the shadows told you he saw it. Your earpiece crackled. Is he watching you? You smirked faintly, whispering without moving your lips. Hook, line, sinker. Still, you didn't move to him. You shifted on your seat, leaning just enough to let the curve of your back show. You let your hair fall to one side, baring your neck as if it were an unspoken invitation. He's watching. Don't rush. Let him come to you, your handler said in your earpiece. Your focus never shifted. You could feel him still, John Jungkook, the mafia boss everyone warned you couldn't be touched. And then he moved. From the corner of your eye, you caught him rising from his booth, black shirt unbuttoned at the collar, tattoos peeking through, his chain glinting under the lights. Every step he took was deliberate, predatory, as though the entire bar belonged to him. Maybe it did. The stool beside you scraped against the floor, and suddenly he was there, close enough that you could smell his cologne, leather smoke, danger. You planning to keep stealing glances from across the room, sweetheart? Or are you finally going to say hello? You froze for only a second, your lips curving into a slow, dangerous smile. And what makes you think I was looking at you? He leaned closer, his voice brushing against your ear. Because I never looked away. Your heart skipped, but you hid it behind another sip of wine. He was sharper than you expected. Sharper, hungrier. Still, this was the opening you wanted. You crossed your legs deliberately, the slit in your dress parting wider. His eyes flickered down, then back up, locking with yours, and just like that, the game had begun. Jungkook watched you not like a man curious, but like an exam he intended to pass with his own rules. His hand rested on the bar, knuckles white against wood. He didn't introduce himself. He didn't have to. You stand out in a crowd like a lighthouse in a storm. Dangerous thing. Lighthouses. You laughed, the sound small and perfectly timed. The bar's chaos continued around you both, but it felt like a deliberate illusion. A curtain, Jungkook and you drew together. You spoke, tilting your head. Dangerous things are usually worth the risk. He smiled, and it was not warmth so much as promise. He turned the glass in his hand, watched the whiskey light fracture along the edges. You want to tell me why you are drinking alone on a Thursday? A spy's lies are practiced, a spy's truths are weaponized. You kept your features neutral, slid a look toward the corner where the crowd hid the exits as though they were unimportant. No one had to know the real reason. Bad week. Needed to be somewhere people don't look too closely. He nodded like that satisfied him. Then he leaned closer, so close that his breath stirred the hair at your nape. Then stay. Tell me your bad week. You felt the tiny ping in your ear, your handler's voice quiet and distant. Hold, observe. Don't engage until we get eyes on the package. Keep him talking. You breathe. The handler's voice threaded through your calm. Play the part. Let him come. Make him think he's winning. You let him talk. He asked questions that seemed casual but were barbed, watching where your eyes darted when you lied, measuring the slight stutter in your voice as if he could find your scaffolding and pull it away. You answered with half truths and suggestions, enough intimacy to make him lean in, not enough to give him purchase. Conversation slid like warm glass between you. He told you a story about the first time he had felt the taste of power. A back alley deal gone right, the thrill of man bending, then a softer, dangerous joke about being lonely at the top. You told him vague sorrow about a man who left you and a job that never rewarded loyalty. He found reasons to touch your hand while laughing, and you let that happen because his skin was rough and sure, and you needed him to think he had the lead. Time passed like a practiced ritual. His guard fell incrementally, like teeth loosening. The crowd dimmed, the way he watched you changed, less a ruler observing a novel, more a hunter making the moment when prey grows still. When you finally allowed your voice to fall just below conversational, you did it on purpose. Your fingers brushed his wrist and you let the contact linger. You spoke low just between the two of you. I don't usually trust strangers. He laughed, the kind that didn't reach his eyes. A hand, warm, certain, slid to the small of your back, guiding you with a gentleman's courtesy that belied his teeth. And don't let me earn it. Your earpiece whispered again, this time quieter, threaded with static. Eyes on target. Extraction possible in 15. Wait for command to proceed. You felt the familiar underline, the one that steadied your spine and sharpened your grin. Your whole body was awire. You had a plan built in microseconds. Get him out of the bar, into a private room, make the sedative look like a careless toast, and radio your extraction. You could already taste the victory wrapped in midnight, already mapped to sticky fingerprints and a black van. You touched Jungkook's arm, pretending to stumble closer. Too loud here, want somewhere quieter? His eyes darkened and he set his glass down. Lead the way, sweetheart. On the way up, you could feel the entire night folding into a single clean line. Jungkook's hand on the small of your back was both a guide and an assertion. The elevator's mirrored walls showed you two moving closer, silhouettes in a glided box, your dress a red note against his darker chords. The hotel room was a perfect stage. Candles flickered to provide an intimate light that masks the harsh cameras of the city. A bottle of wine sat waiting on a low table. Two crystal glasses breathed like lungs. The stage was set. He stood watching as you moved toward the table with the nonchalance of someone who had rehearsed the spell. Uncork it, he said, and the single syllable contained a test. You did. Your hand moved steady, fingers practiced, blade pressed subtly into the cork as you poured. The plan was a choreography at this point. Add sedative to his drink, not yours, so that he would be the one who went under. But you had to make it look natural. He needed to drink in front of you, to toast to the night. You had practiced the motion until muscles remembered the betrayal. Slipped the capsule, microscopic and bitter, to the base of his glass as you leaned past him to grab a napkin. The contact was almost flirtatious. His shoulders flexed at the brush of your leg. He didn't notice, or he let himself appear not to. You lifted your glass first, voice sweet and light. To a quiet night. He met your eyes and raised his. You murmured into your earpiece under breath. Come on to proceed. Static at first, then the handlers clipped answered. Proceed. Extraction in 10. Plant in glass. Make it natural. You smiled because it was almost funny how obediently you had trained yourself to obey a voice in your ear. You clicked glasses with him, the crystal meeting like a gunshot. 2 quiet nights. He drank, so did you, pretending, and you waited. 5 minutes, then you watched him lean back on the bed, his breathing slowing. You whispered into your earpiece. Target neutralized. Extraction team, stand by. You leaned closer, brushing your lips against his ear. Should have known better than to trust a pretty face. You whispered, but then he laughed. Your blood ran cold. His eyes opened, not heavy, not unfocused, sharp and alive. Shouldn't you have known better? You blinked, confused. The room tilted. Suddenly your vision blurred. The glass slipped from your fingers, shattering on the floor. You stared at him. He was sitting up now, slow and unhurried, his grin spreading like a shadow. I don't drink what I don't pour myself. Rule number 1. Didn't they teach you that, agent? Your limbs turned heavy. Panic clawed at your throat. What did you? He cut in soft. You really thought you could? Me slip something in my glass, walk out a hero? He rose from the bed, each movement precise, a hunter circling his prey. I let you play your little game. The dress, the smile, the whispers in your ear. He tapped a finger to his own ear knowingly. You think I don't know when someone is talking to me through an earpiece? Your knees buckled. You tried to push away, but the drug burned like fire through your veins. He crouched down beside you as you slid off the bed, your head hitting the carpet softly. His fingers caught your chin before it hit the floor. Shh, Izzy, it's a strong dose, isn't it? You tried to claw at his wrist. You, he smiled. Me? I'm just a man enjoying the view of someone who thought they were smarter. He brushed your hair back from your face. His touch was gentle, but his eyes were not. I have been watching you since the moment you walked in. The way you walked, the way you smiled like you had already won. And I thought, his thumb traced your lower lip lightly. Let's see how far she's willing to go. Your vision tunneled. The earpiece hissed once, then went dead. I could call your team right now. Tell them to come pick up their broken toy, or... He leaned in closer, his breath warm against your ear. I could keep you. You tried to speak, your lips moved, but no sound came. He smirked. Yeah, keep you. You walked into my world thinking you were the hunter. You are not. You are the prize, my lady. He straightened, sliding one arm under you effortlessly. The room swayed as he lifted you, carrying you like you weighed nothing. I make the rules, sweetheart. And rule number 2. He glanced down at you, eyes dark and shining. I don't let go of things that interest me. Darkness swallowed you. The last thing you saw was his cold smirk above you, the city lights glittering behind him like teeth. He whispered the last words before black. Sleep now. When you wake up, we'll talk, and then you'll understand exactly who's playing who. The first thing he felt was warmth, not the sterile warmth of a hotel blanket, but a decadent heat that clung to your skin. When your eyes fluttered open, silk sheets poured like liquid over your body, black and soft, absorbing you whole. The ceiling above wasn't white plaster but carved wood and gold. Heavy curtains spilled shadows across the room. You sat up instantly, no ropes, no cuffs, just a cage of velvet and luxury. Your fingers went to your earpiece, gone. Your watch, gone. Your gun, gone. Shit. You muttered under your breath. Across the room, a pair of glass doors opened onto a terrace with a view of Seoul far below. City lights still flickering from the early morning haze. This wasn't a hotel, this was a fortress, and then you heard it, the slow clap of hands. John Jungkook stood leaning against the doorway, still in late night shirt but with sleeves rolled up now, veins peeking in his forearm. His tattoos, the one you had only seen in Intel photos, curled like serpents up his skin. He looked perfectly awake. Morning, sweetheart. Sleep well. You glared at him, pushing the silk aside and standing. Where's my equipment? Jungkook tilted his head, his dark hair falling into his eyes. Oh, your toys? Confiscated. You really thought you could walk into my club, drug me and leave alive? You took a step toward him, your voice sharp. You are underestimating me. You won't keep me here. He chuckled, low and genuine. Underestimate you, sweetheart. I have been watching you for weeks. Every glance, every step, every breath. You weren't the only one playing the game. You felt the urge to spit back, but instead you scanned the room, calculating. Windows sealed, doors locked with digital codes, cameras hidden in the chandelier. He had built a kingdom where nothing escaped. Jungkook walked closer, his eyes flickering with something dark. Don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you. I don't break what I treasure. You stiffen. Treasure? I'm not one of your trophies. His smirk deepened. No, you are different. You walked into the lion's den with a knife and thought you would leave with my head. That take guts. I like guts. You squared your shoulders, then like this, I'm not staying. He leaned in so close you could smell the faint trace of smoke and expensive cologne. You'll try, and you'll fail, but I'll enjoy watching you try. Your pulse hammered, but you didn't back down. We'll see. He chuckled low in his throat. It wasn't a mocking sound exactly, more like someone amused at a child's question. This isn't a hotel, agent. This is my home, and outside that door, he gestured lazily toward the guarded exit, is my empire. Every inch of it knows your face by now. He stood again, giving you space as if he could read your unease and was careful not to break it. He poured a glass of water, set it on the nightstand, and spoke without turning. Breakfast will be brought up. Eat, drink, shower, walk around if you need to. Everyone here will treat you like a queen because I said so. But understand, he turned back to you, eyes dark and burning. The queen doesn't leave the board until the king says the game is over. He walked toward the door but stopped, glancing back. And don't mistake this for a prison. If I wanted to cage you, you would be in chains, but I would rather see what you will do without them. The door clicked shut, leaving you alone in the silk and gold. You exhaled slowly, your heart pounded, but your mind was already working. This wasn't over, not by a long shot.